It's gut check time. These are your fantasy football semifinals. You need every ounce of information you can find at this time, and that's why you're tuned in to today's Thursday night preview between the Rams and the Seahawks. And what a game it is. A battle for the NFC West, maybe home field advantage in the playoffs. Glad you're here with me today on Fantasy Football Almost Daily. Then on Friday, it's Fantasy Friday on the show. We'll preview all 15 of the remaining games this weekend, including the Saturday ones, the Sunday ones, the Monday nighter. We'll give you a few tough nuts to crack and see about 9 guys you can roll the dice on. It'll be me. It'll be Trevor Jones. It'll be Kent Wyrock. You won't want to miss it if you're still in the fantasy playoffs. Fantasy Football Almost Daily is brought to you by Fanball. There's a Fanball 5x5 contest up there right now for the Rams Seahawks game on Thursday night. Only $5 to play. We'll preview that game on this episode. All the good players are $4 or less too in that game. You definitely want to check that out. It's also brought to you by Game Blazers, which has a $36,000 prize pool this week and a special $40,000 slate in week 17. Every week is a new chance to win, so it's never too late to get started on Game Blazers. Sign up today. Use referral code FFAD when you register. You'll get a free starter pack plus a free rare pack, along with a spend 5, get 50 offer once you finish onboarding, where you get 2 more rare packs for just $5. Download Game Blazers today. Let's get to that Thursday night matchup. But first, hit me with some tunes, Tate.
From the Sports Hub Games Network, this is Fantasy Football Almost Daily with your host, Matt Harrison.
It's me, I'm Matt Harrison, back again. You can find me on Twitter or Blue Sky at Explosive Output. And today we're keeping it short and sweet. We're going to preview that Thursday night game with beautiful metallic grades of gold, silver, or bronze. Before we get to that, wherever you're listening or watching this pod, make sure that you like, follow, or subscribe to Fantasy Football Almost Daily. Give us a high 5 or a 5-star rating or whatever you need to do, but it really helps us out. Let's get this thing kicked off, as these two teams are both 11-3. The stakes are incredibly high for both reality and fantasy football, so this one's super important. And we're going to start on the Rams side, and we're going to talk about the wide receiver position first. And we're going to start with Davante Adams, who's in a tough spot. As I record this on Wednesday afternoon, I'd say his chances to play are slim. He's dealing with 2 injuries, one to his knee and one to his hamstring. He hasn't practiced yet this week. I think the hamstring is the one that knocked him out of the game last week and has the potential to keep him out again this week. And you got to think about it. The Rams have designs to make it to the Super Bowl, and the NFC is wide open. While home field is great for them, I think they could exercise caution with Davante Adams, who's been a huge part of their offense this year, and keep him and his hamstring on the bench in a short week. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, he plays. He was knocked out of the game with the injury last week. Recurrence is a very real possibility here. I'd have to give him a bronze grade, and that's about the best I could do. In the meeting a month ago, Adams only caught 1 ball for 1 yard and 1 touchdown. That was good. He caught it against Tariq Woolen, who tends to stick to the perimeter wide receivers, and that's where Adams is. If he doesn't play, I expect a matchup of Puka Nacua, the number 1 ranked wide receiver by Pro Football Focus, against Devin Witherspoon, the number 1 ranked cornerback by Pro Football Focus. Now, Witherspoon does shadow a little bit, but the Rams were able to scheme Puka away from Witherspoon in the first matchup, mainly because I think they had Adams too. Puka had 7 for 75 in that game. It's definitely a strength versus strength. I'll extend the silver grade to Puka, which is about the worst he can be rated in any game ever. It's a higher grade of silver if Adams can go, because then I think that they have to flex Witherspoon off of Puka a little bit. No one is afraid of Tutu Atwell or Kanata Mumpfield. I did not make that name up. He's the other wide receiver who would be starting in place of Davante Adams. Colby Parkinson scored in the prior meeting with the Seahawks, and it's a revenge game for him. Parkinson has come on recently with 6 touchdowns in his last 6 games, including 2 last week. He also had 5 catches for 75 yards against the Lions. Over the last 5 weeks, he's tight end number 3 in fantasy football, with only Trey McBride and Kyle Pitts having more fantasy points. We all knew it was going to be Kyle Pitts and Colby Parkinson at the end of the year. Seattle has allowed the third most receptions and the fourth most yards to opposing tight ends. So I'm giving Colby Parkinson a solid silver grade here. Matthew Stafford faces a tough test in his prior matchup with the Seahawks. He did complete 2 touchdown passes, but that was really about it. Only 28 passing attempts in that game. That was his second lowest mark of the season. Only 15 completions in that game. That was his lowest of the season. Only 130 passing yards. That was by far his lowest mark of the season. And only one quarterback in the last 5 games has completed just 20 passes against Seattle. Only 2 of the last 7 quarterbacks they've faced have hit the 200-yard mark. Still, Stafford has thrown for multiple touchdown passes in 8 straight games. I've got silvers on Puka and Parkinson. I think Stafford gets a silver here too, but it's a shaky silver. Then there's Kyren and Corum, who've formed a 1-2 punch in the last few weeks. Both of them have scored a touchdown in 3 straight weeks. Both have hit at least 70 rushing yards in 3 straight weeks. They've not been using their backs in the passing game hardly at all, though. And this has been for a long time. Week 5 was the last time any Rams back had more than 2 catches, 2 in a game. Seattle is number 1 in yards per carry allowed at only 3.5. They're number 2 in rushing touchdowns allowed, only 4 on the year. Kyren got 1 of them. And they're number 3 in rush yards allowed per game, but they're bottom 5 in receptions and receiving yards allowed to opposing backs. They've actually given up the most receptions to running backs this year. So the passing path is the way to go for the runners. How'd they do in that week 11 matchup? Kyren had 1 catch for 5 yards. Corum had 1 catch for -5 yards. So 2 catches for 0 yards combined. I'll throw a Shibuichi, which is between a bronze and a silver, on Kyren. He has been the pass catcher in the past. He's got an 8 reception game way back in week 5. He still gets more touches too. So Kyren gets the better grade. And a commercial bronze grade on Corum. I'm afraid he just can't get enough done with the 11 to 12 touches he's getting per game right now. He's been pretty efficient with them so far, but I think that this is a different matchup. Over to the Seahawks side, it's the one and only gold grade in this game, and it goes to Jackson Smith and Jigba. From the slot last week, the Lions torched this Rams defense, and it was Amon-Ra St. Brown going for 13 catches, 164 yards, and 2 scores on 18 targets. That stat line is certainly in play for the league leader in receiving yards. By the way, JSN is only 6 receptions behind Puka for the league lead in that category, and 5 touchdowns behind Devontae Adams for the league lead in that category. So if JSN just has an ultra day, maybe gets 6 touchdowns in that game, he's back to the league lead in everything. And he had 9 catches for 105 in the first meeting. I think he's solid gold in this one. Here, I'll give you one of these.
I love gold.
There you go. Rashid Shaheed gets a bronze grade, and I'll leave Cooper Kupp on the bench. Both of these players got 7 targets last week. Both of them got 5 catches last week. But Shaheed had 74 yards, and Kupp only 46. Kupp has only topped 50 yards 3 times this season, and he's only scored twice. And it's a big revenge game angle for him too. I just don't know if he still has it. I think Sean McVay might have been right. He just doesn't have it anymore. Shaheed matches up with Emmanuel Forbes most often. Forbes has allowed a team high 6 touchdowns in his coverage this year and has allowed 14 catches on 18 targets in just the last 3 weeks. So like Shaheed a little bit more here. Sam Darnold gets a silver grade. The Seahawks will have to pass to keep pace in this game. I think Darnold can do it. In the first meeting, he had 279 yards. The Rams have allowed multiple touchdown passes in 3 straight games, and that was to Bryce Young, Jacoby Brissett, and then last week to Jared Goff. 4 of the last 5 quarterbacks who started and finished a game against the Rams have hit 270 yards. So, and it's also worth noting a little on the downside for Darnold that his left tackle, Charles Cross, might not be able to go in this one. They're trying to get him ready, but he hasn't practiced yet this week. He's got a hamstring injury. I don't know if a hamstring injury is as important to a left tackle as it is to maybe a wide receiver who's running full speed down the field. Maybe they can get him up and get him going, but that's iffy at best for Charles Cross. Finally, the running game for the Seahawks, that's on the bench. Charbonnet and Walker basically split, only 18 touches last week and only 20 touches the week before. That's just not enough volume to get it done for two backs who are basically just splitting the work. And the Rams are an incredibly tough matchup. They're allowing only 3.75 yards per carry. That's third best. Only 78 rushing yards per game. That's seventh best. And most importantly, only 3 rushing scores all year, which is the best in the league. But notably, Kenneth Walker is one of those touchdowns. I still wouldn't buy him as repeating that, though, this week. That's it for the matchup. A reminder on Game Blazers, get in on the action over at Game Blazers this week to win your share of $36,000 in prizes and free-to-play contests. If you sign up with the referral code FFAD, you'll get a free starter pack, a free rare pack, and then a special offer for 2 more rare packs. Learn more at GameBlazers.com. We'll be back tomorrow with Trevor Jones to preview this week's favorite DFS plays. We hope to have your eyeballs and ear holes tuning into us tomorrow on another Fantasy Football Almost Daily.
This was Fantasy Football Almost Daily. Please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating wherever you listen to podcasts.